Hi, and welcome to Read Up. Here at Read Up, we explore the wonderful world of reading. Today, we're going to take a look at Sideway Stories from Wayside School by Louis Sachar. When Wayside School was built, it was supposed to be only one story high with 30 classrooms side by side. But the builder made a mistake and made it 30 floors high with one classroom on each floor. This collection of 30 stories talks about the children and teachers on the 30th floor of Wayside School. You'll hear stories about the mean Mrs. Gorth, the nice Mrs. Jules, and students like Todd, who's always getting himself into trouble, and John, who can only read upside down, and Myron, the class president. Here's a preview from the book. Mrs. Gorth had a long tongue and pointed ears. She was the meanest teacher at Wayside School. She taught the class on the 30th story. If you children are bad, she warned, or if you answer a problem wrong, I'll wiggle my ears, stick out my tongue, and turn you into apples. Mrs. Gorth didn't like children, but she loved apples. Joe couldn't add, he couldn't even count, but he knew that if he answered a problem wrong, he would be turned into an apple. So he copied from John. He didn't like to cheat, but Mrs. Gorth had never taught him how to add. One day, Mrs. Gorth caught Joe copying John's paper. She wiggled her ears, first her right one, then her left, stuck out her tongue, and turned Joe into an apple. Then she turned John into an apple for letting Joe cheat. Hey, that isn't fair, said Todd. John was only trying to help a friend. Mrs. Gorth wiggled her ears, first her right one, then her left, stuck out her tongue, and turned Todd into an apple. Does anybody else have an opinion? She asked. Nobody said a word. Mrs. Gorth laughed and placed the 3 apples on her desk. You'll have to read the rest of the story to find out about all the funny things that happen at Wayside School. Sideway Stories from Wayside School can be found at your local library. Make sure to pick up a copy today and continue to read up.